Chickadee Chang, what's up, gangsters? Welcome to your 37th tutorial. What we're going to do is work with some radio buttons and working with a button group, getting everything set up. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to hop right into the tutorial. None of that fluff stuff where I just kind of talk before we get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is go up to our header. We're going to say J radio button, and we're going to set up 4 buttons within our radio group. So we're going to say J radio button, and we're going to label these 4 buttons B1, B2, B3, and B4. Alright, pretty unique and creative names. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our group, because we need a group that's like, you know, when our buttons get depressed, they come to this support group, and the group just kind of holds everyone together. So that's what this group is going to do. It's going to label all of our radio buttons in the same group. So we're just going to set up something called a button group, and we're just going to label this group. Pretty awesome, right? Again, we just have to add our imports by Shift Command O, and we're good to go. The next thing that we want to do is, just for, you know, setting up this tutorial, we're going to create another J panel to hold our radio group and our radio buttons, or our button group and our radio buttons. So we're just going to again call this P4 equals a new J panel, and there we go. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this J panel to our current frame. So again, we did that within, you know, a line like this down here. So just right here, we're just going to say add P4, and then again border layout, and we'll have these guys be the west side gang. So we're just going to say border layout west goes, and save this. And then next thing that we're going to do is we're going to, like I said, add all of our buttons to our group, and then we're going to add that group to our J panel. So right here, right below, you know, where we set up our panel 4, we're just going to say button 1, and our button's kind of lost right now. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I am. I don't know, you know, what the meaning of life is. So we're just going to say he's a new J radio button, and you know, pretty basic. We can give it a title as well, like choice 1. And then we're going to do this for all of our buttons, so just B2. And the reason they call them radio buttons is because back in the day, before the digital age, they had like these radios where if you had a song playing off your cassette tape and you hit the stop button, your play button would pop up and your stop button would go down. So essentially you could only pick one button on the radio at a time. So that's kind of the same concept of radio buttons in Java, and we're only going to be allowed to pick one of these buttons. You guys have probably seen these multiple times on the internet and applications and stuff, but that's why it's called a radio button, I believe, or I just made that up. But either way, it's going to help you remember it. So we're just going to say a new again, radio button for all these. Still typing because we're slow, and there we go. We have our 4 buttons set up. They know what they are. They know that they have a string or something that they're going to display. And now what we have to do is we have to add all these buttons to our group, and then obviously add our group to our panel, like I said. So we're going to refer to our group. Again, this is something called a button group. We're just going to say dot add, and what do we add? We add a button. So we're just going to say add button 1, and we've added 1 button to our group. And we're just going to do this for all 4 buttons. So all 4 buttons are in the same group. So what this is essentially saying is we're adding all 4 of these buttons to our one group, so only one of these buttons can be selected at a time. We could have set up another group and had, like, you know, group 2 only have buttons 3 and 4, so you could select between those 2, and then for our first group you could select between those 2, 1 and 2. But we're just going to have all 4 buttons within the same group. Hopefully you guys get the concept. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to set up the layout of all our buttons onto our panel. I know I said, you know, the group we need to set into the panel, but that's essentially what we're doing. We're just, you know, mapping out the buttons of that group, if that makes sense. Let's just get into it, because we're just going to say P4 add component like we're so familiar with, and we're just going to say button 1, and we're just going to copy and paste this, again, because of laziness. And, you know, bam, bam, bam. And after we add all 4 of our buttons, let's check this out. Hopefully it gets, you know, something spectacular. We're going to run this here. Alright, and when we run this, we get an error because we forgot to define what group is, or, you know, a variable called group. So, you know, it's kind of weird that a button group also needs a support group as well. So we're just going to say group is equal to a new button group, and there we're good to go. We're just going to run this, and here you go. We have our 4 radio buttons. You can only select one at a time. We could sell this to AOL, and we're good to go. So catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.